You are listening to In Response, a legacy podcast. A show where three handsome guys talk about their favorite Magic the Gathering format, Legacy.
I'm Peter Plank, the artificer. I've got everything at hand in my Goblin Welders toolbox.
I'm Daniel, the scientist. I ponder precisely about the next move that decides the fate of my opponents.
I'm Philipp, the rogue. I use the graveyard to fuel opponents with agony.
And now, lean back and enjoy.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 76, Attacking the Metagame of
In Response,
A legacy podcast.
I'm Philipp Klein,
I am Daniel.
And I'm Peter Plank.
and we're talking about Legacy.
Most of the time.
And at first, I have to thank our beautiful Patreons, Christian Neutz, Matt Duncan, and Moritz Eichmeier. Thank you very much. If you want to join our Patreons, go over to patreon.com/response_legacy. Now we jump right into attacking the metagame.
And for attacking the metagame, we basically prepared for each of us a few text lists that we are comfortable, that we want to try out in the new metagame or are even playing now. And I think we want to start off with Phil here. Phil, we have noted here the infamous Dreadnought.
Oh yeah, the shrimp is loose basically. So, I mean, since the advent of Doorkeeper Thrall, Dreadnought, Phyrexian Dreadnought, is playable again in Legacy because it took some key pieces to really fit together. Just like Stifle was always there, and there were always the 4 Stifles as enabler, and Vision Charm or how's that scroll called? The artifact. It was an artifact where you can manifest the top card and then it just
I don't know the name.
like a morph.
Yeah.
But yeah, those got played very briefly and to a limited success. But then Dressdown got printed, which gave the deck another angle to attack and also another angle to let the Dreadnought live, basically. And now we have, since Return of Ravnica, the Doorkeeper Thrall. The Doorkeeper Thrall, we talked about this in length in one of our previous episodes. It's actually a pretty great creature in our metagame because it stops artifacts and creatures that enter the battlefield triggers. So it's great against Doomsday, great against Cephalid Breakfast, great against Grief Scam, and a lot of other creatures, Solitude,
Goblin Engineer.
Goblin Engineer, yeah, or Chaos Defiler.
Exactly.
Yeah, these are the Doorkeeper Thrall alone is a really strong card. It gets played also in Maverick as a sideboard card or in 4-color control as a sideboard card. And in basically at first we had to play something like Uro in the deck. I mean, there were some strict blue-white shells, but they weren't really great because you always lacked another threat. Dreadnought had always a problem with you only have 4 Dreadnoughts. You have a lot of ways to get the Dreadnought going, but you only have 4 of them.
No.
And that was the case up until now. Even with Doorkeeper Thrall, you played then Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, which basically acted like 4-7, or like Dreadnought 4-7. But it was way too slow, way too mana intensive, and it simply doesn't provide things that this deck needs.
Yeah.
You don't want the land drop, or you don't profit from that land drop that much like another deck. The 3 life gains are okay-ish at best. The best thing is that you can draw the card. And now there are basically 2 or 3, like we talked about in the last episode with a blue-black Dreadnought. There's also now a blue-black list and a bug list also. But basically what I want to talk about today is about blue-white Dreadnought and Jeskai Dreadnought. I'm actually unsure what I should play out of them because blue-white has such a nice mana base. You can play basics in it, but you don't have a recurable threat like Uro was. You have one of the, in my opinion, one of the best cards out of Modern Horizons 3, Null Drifter.
Yep.
Null Drifter is so insane. I mean, we talked about it in the last episode also. It's a evoke for free, but you never cast it for 7 mana, which is its CMC. And when you cast it, you draw 2 cards. It's a 4/4 flying Annihilator 1. It's a really great threat. It makes a lot of pressure. And
Yeah, it's perfect slot for the deck, usually.
100% right. And the thing is, but I also want a kind of a recurring threat. So I'm actually testing out Flage in the spot of Uro because it provides, I think, very much needed reach in form of, or extra removal in form of the Lightning Helix that is attached to its body. And also what I really, really love about the Jeskai build is just the insanely strong Cyber plan. Pyroblasts, Price of Progress. Also, another breakout card in the new metagame, Harsh Mentor. For me, it's a breakout card because it just does so many things.
I think this is pretty unusual. Why exactly Harsh Mentor? Because this card has been legal in Legacy for quite some time at this point, and it's pretty specific and never really saw any play in Legacy. So why would you now opt for a card like Harsh Mentor?
Because it's especially for anything Nadu related. Because Nadu is a card that wants to get targeted. And how do you target Nadu? It's always with activated abilities. That you can do this over and over again. Yeah. And therefore, you can really, I don't want to say stop it, but you can punish it to a degree where it's often like you hit them once with a Dreadnought. Yeah. They have fetched once, maybe twice, go down to 6 to 8 life, and then they only have 4 triggers with a Harsh Mentor out to find something, or even at only 3 triggers off of Nadu, which basically shuts off the combo. Yeah. They have to...
It's a hate piece, right?
Yeah, it's a great hate piece for this kind of deck, and I'm actually in between. Do I want the straight mana base of blue-white, where I can play basics and Blood Moon proof, also Harbinger of the Seas proof because it
it's an factor, yeah.
basic planes. On the other hand, I have the very strong Cyber plan of Pyroblasts, Meltdown against lands, Harsh Mentor.
Just interesting on the Pyroblast, because from the last weeks and months, Pyroblast was pretty mediocre in the Legacy metagame. So how do you see this now? Because hardly any decks, for example, if you look at control decks, they opt oftentimes now to just ditch Pyroblast from the sideboards altogether. Do you think this changes now?
For sure, because the best cards before the printing of Modern Horizons 3 were always black. So you wanted to address Grief, you wanted to address Troll, you wanted to address Dorothy, you wanted to address Atraxa, which is also non-red, and Orcish Bowmasters, which is also non-red. Blue. Atraxa is blue.
Atraxa is blue. Yeah.
I got that confused. Yeah. But you can address Atraxa, but you can't address Archon. You can't address Grizzlebrand that's played nowadays, and no Orcish Bowmasters. So there weren't that many really juicy targets that you want to hit. But now you've got Nadu, which has to be pyroblasted on this deck if you don't want to get 2-for-1.
Yeah, it's the best answer. Pyroblast, it's the best answer on the stack against Nadu, yeah, for sure.
And also Psychic Frog. Psychic Frog, another card out of Modern Horizons 3. Sure, you have your Swords to Plowshares, which are good against it, but you also want to just pyroblast it on the stack, so they can't get any value out of discarding their cards. So actually, I'm looking forward to jamming Dreadnoughts in the future. And I'll keep you updated on my Twitter. Or basically on our Twitter, because I think we just now try to post our weekly results on our league on our Twitter account, and maybe you can see the deck lists there.
Exactly. So we got a little bit of spice in with like Pyroblast being the perfect fit against Nadu. So we want to chime in with Daniel, who is like our Naduing expert.
I don't want to get Pyroblasted.
That's why I'm playing it.
True, yeah. I think it's if you really top heavily into Pyroblast and Harsh Mentor against Nadu, you certainly respect Nadu in the current metagame. I'm not so sure if the card overall will be over the top good, like completely tier 1. It's, I think, also not 100% clear in which kind of shell Nadu is the best, but obviously it gets heavily played in breakfast at the moment. You have bunt versions. We discussed, I think, one of these versions when I think one of our last episodes we touched this topic a little bit. I've been playing a couple of versions, or tried to build some different versions at the moment, and one of them has miserably failed, I think. that I maybe can just shortly talk to you. The idea was I had a little bit of a chat with Mark Erik Vogt, and the idea was just simply to play full on Nadu combo with without any black. This was kind of my idea. I don't want to get 4 color. I don't want to have a bad mana base, so I ditched black completely. Only having Dread Return in the deck to mill and then flashback. And the idea was to have dazes of your own, and then also a couple of Simian Spirit Guides, actually.
Elvish.
Elvish, sorry.
Okay.
Elvish Spirit Guides, yeah, exactly. Just as an idea, but it turned out that, it's maybe too, I don't know, it doesn't work very well with days still. I mean, the idea would be that you can power out your Nadu on turn 2 and then combo very fast with the games against any opponent. But with days involved, and Nadu is still a 3-drop, it is, I hard cards a lot of Elvish Spirit Guides, to put it that way. Sometimes I just top deck them and it didn't really matter. So, there are versions who play, I don't know, would probably better to just have some Lotus Petals instead or something like this. I don't know. But I tried, then what really impressed me was Cavern of Souls. This is natural fitting in the deck because not only the Nadu is a wizard, but of course also the Zephyr Illusionist is a wizard, as well as the Thassa itself. Yeah. So you have you can just name wizard and have 3 creatures covered. And my current version actually plays a full playset of Cavern of Souls, which is pretty unusual.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. And I'm at the moment ditching all the Ursa Sagas. So this idea also credits to Mark for this. He sent me a list over, and I'm building on that. I think this felt pretty good so far. And, multiple caverns look probably bad, and you cannot cast any other spells with this land. But what I had at some point was also, an extra cavern means you just can name core, for example, which would be a nice creature type. Then you can make your nomads and core uncountable. Plus, I'm playing Stoneforge Mystic, which is also a core.
Oh,
so,
wow.
So you can also have a 2-for-1 in that by naming core, and maybe first one is wizard, then second one is core, and then you can all your threats are uncountable in that sense, and you don't have to, some lists try Delighted Halfling. Some lists, go like with Ursa Saga to get uncountable versions of Shukos, and with the Delighted Halfling you can get uncountable Nadus theoretically. But it's slow, it takes some time. The Halfling needs to live for one turn. The Halfling is especially only really good on turn 1, and then afterwards it's top decking a Halfling is not the best thing in Legacy to do. So Cavern of Souls, just play it and get instant value out of it, and then you just cast your Nadu and then combo off. So far I'm enjoying this version a lot.
But you're ditching days now because
exactly. No daisies. I think it's just for Swords to Plowshares in the main. Then the basic package of Black came back in. I think I realized that you want to prevent the dread return draws. Sometimes you draw it, you wanna at least mill a Cow Therapy to get it out of your hand. Probably it matters for a certain percentage of the games where you would lose if you cannot combo that way. So came back in, and the rest is pretty standard. Well, I have a Stoneforge package now, which can grab a Shuko or a Kaldra, so it's pretty...
and I lost terribly against the Kaldra in 2 games. It was just insane.
So you're playing 2 Shuko, 1 Kaldra?
Yeah, exactly. 3 Stoneforge Mystic and 3 Nomads actually at the moment. 4 Nadus, no Step Through. I think at the moment, I think Step Through is not needed.
It's most of the time like 3 Nadu and 1 Step Through, right?
Yeah, and this, I personally don't like this. I mean, what you get is like flexibility, because you can get the Nadu, the Illusionist, or the Thassa, which is correct. But I feel like if I have another copy of Nadu that I just play, it is most of the time, if it resolves, GG anyways. So I don't want to have this 2 mana to pay extra to get my Nadu, which slows me down. I just want to have, like, if I have 3 mana in a Cavern of Souls, I want to play now my Nadu and not wait 1 turn to, I don't know, end of turn cycle for the Nadu and then cast it into the next turn.
That makes sense.
I think Step Through is not needed. You have 8 threats that already. You have either the Illusionist or the Nadu. You don't need it, I think.
You have so many ways to win the game. This deck is just... When I played against it, it felt like I have so many angles to cover. It's... I can cover the Illusionist angle, the Shuko angle, the Nadu angle. I can cover everything. And then just lose to random Stoneforge Mystic into Kaldra, and don't find enough removal. In one game, I countered the Kaldra, the token from the Living End. I stifled the token. I stifled the Equip.
Yeah, I think 2 times or something. Yeah,
I stifled 2 times the Living End token trigger. I stifled 1 time the Equip. And 1 time I removed the creature that should have been equipped.
Yeah.
And
the 4th time.
And the 4th time was just too much and I died to it.
Sometimes. Yeah. But there's a lot of counter,
the problem with Breakfast is like you kind of have to combat it incredible restrictive with a fair base. And this is incredibly hard to combat with like 4 Cavern of Souls.
Yep.
And... So you kind of want to combat it unfairly, the deck. Because, you can't win a fair game against Nadu. And it's the reason, like, for me personally, a lot of decks have to adapt to an unfair win or either include Nadu themselves. And just chime in with a little bit of my stuff. If you want to talk about Breakfast later on, we can do again. It's like... with shoutouts to Dukes and Twitch, he played Bant Maverick just to include Nadu together with Stoneforge Mystic. I mean, Stoneforge Mystic is pretty common in Maverick shouts, or it's a mainstay in the Maverick shouts, but he now plays also the Nadu. It's incredibly sweet because you can get it with Green Sun Zenith. It's a deck that naturally plays Dry Arbor, which also is a huge benefit for it. But now, instead of playing like Lavaspore Boots or Lavaspore Boots or the
Shadow Spear.
you're playing now Shukos. You get it with either a Saga that you're playing in there because you're playing sometimes the Saga package, or you get it with the Stoneforge Mystic, and now you have Nadu to completely win the fair game. I mean, most of the time, if you play Nadu a little bit unfairly, it's stronger, but at least you can compete in the fair game.
Yeah.
Because with Painter, if I fought over a resolved Nadu and I used like 2 cards because there was like a force in between, and I have to use like a Source of Plowshares and a Pyroblast to get rid of it, or 2 swords. He got 2 cards out of it. I lost 2 removal spells, so 2 good spells of my hand. If I don't find the combo in like 1 or 2 turns, I'm over. And the same is a little bit for like Green-White Depths. There at least you have the Flying Beater for 20 life, but Nadu is also flying, so it's naturally a good block against my Blanche. At least you have Satiric Step and stuff like that to combat this angle. But yeah, Nadu is, I think, a really, really strong card that will be introduced in a lot of different shells. At least for me, the Ragdoll shells did not really develop further.
Yeah, no, I think it would be, you need too much slots for that. It's not like a one alone. The card alone is not like for 3 mana. A 2 for 1 is okay. I mean, and you know, a Delver deck doesn't want to play 3 drops.
Are you playing?
Just the 3 drops. I mean, it's a.
Yeah.
I think it's really nice, although that I think Nadu is maybe a little bit too strong for Legacy. But that has to be debated. It's at least, like Peter, you said it really nicely. It's either a 8.5 or 10, something in between. It's a great card. But what I really like about it, it simply doesn't slot into Delver.
No, yeah, you need some cards, I think.
Yeah, it was tried with like 2 Shukos and Nadus, because like Shuko is okay in Delver because like you have the flying creatures to hit your opponent with, but yeah, it fortunately didn't work out.
Yeah.
And I think actually this is the reason why I personally think Nadu is fine, because it needs a certain shell and a certain build around with it. You need at least a second part. I mean, Nadu plus Nomads is insanely strong, you know, but so is Splinter Twin plus
Deceiver
Exile. So I mean, of course, they cost way more mana, but still,
it's 3 drop and 4 drop.
A 2-card combo in Legacy that wins a game is nothing unusual, actually.
It's nothing new. Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
And it doesn't slot into every deck. It's still a 3-drop, and a 3-drop in Legacy, I think it has to pull a lot of weight for it to be really, really, I don't know, over the top. And I think the last time we saw this was probably Oko. But yeah, I think past this, I think there was no really big 3-drop that we thought this was too strong. So in that sense, I think it's okay, but it will definitely be slotted into different shells and archetype. And I just want to mention one archetype that is, well, version actually. It's related to your Maverick version that you mentioned. I saw a Bunt Nadu list, and I'm coming back to this, but I just previously talked bad about this card. It's a shell that plays the Light Halfling and Greenstone Zenith, as well as just a normal Brainstorm Pond of Force blue shell, and you just have your Greenstone Zenith for Nadu. You play a couple of Dry Hours and some Nomads, and I think the rest, I think 1 or 2 Shukos as well. And the idea is just to Greenstone Zenith for Nadu, Nomads, and then start your triggers. You have a lot of creatures with Halflings, Dryad Hours, Nadus, and the Nomads. And then what I think is really nice as a one-off, as a search target, is the newly Spring Hardener Tuku.
Mm-hmm.
I think slots very well into this deck because I goldfish deck a couple of times and I think I had like, I don't know, 3 or 4 occasions where I drew my whole deck on turn 3 because of
Spring had not.
yeah, just in Natuku, you I don't know, you get two triggers, for example, from Nadu, you flip a land, you get a 1/1, you get two new triggers, you flip another land, maybe it's a fetch land, then you get 2 1/1s, you can fetch for a Dried Arbor, 2 more triggers, then you have enough mana cast maybe another Dork, get 2 more triggers, you draw your deck, and then in the end win again with Thassa's Oracle.
Yeah.
So this is the deck that I think
Is it the evolution of like the list Brian Coble played on like the first day of release? He played it with Field of the Dead. Basically, it seems like an evolution of the or introduction of the modern deck back to Legacy.
this is similar. It just instead of the Greens on Synth route, it goes the Stone Blade route with Stoneforge Mystic and Calva. And this is the version I played Field of the Dead. It's similar idea, but it doesn't play a Thassa's combo package and combo win. So, but yeah, same idea kind of. Yeah,
But-
pretty interesting, I think.
But coming a little bit back to breakfast, do you play in Dried Arbors in there?
No,
You don't have to place. Yeah,
You don't have to place because it's a single green mana.
only together with Greens and Zeniths.
yeah, and it's more. In this case, it would be more win more because if I have, I don't know, Illusionist or
Yeah, you
Shushu
will
Ko
go
and-
like.
yeah, you're winning anyway, so you go for the combo. So Dried Arbor would be like win more for Nadu comboing cards, but Nadu is more or less the plan B.
Mhm.
You don't want to invest too much in the plan B, just want to have it naturally working.
So you either win or are like up 6 cards.
Exactly. Yeah.
Seems,
Which is
And
also
fine.
simply the next turn.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
So we are now a few minutes in. So each of us gets 1 minute to talk about another new deck that he's really excited. I will give you the last 15 seconds of the timer and then you finish your argument. So, Phil, for you, I have a special deck noted. It's Mono Black Oops.
Oh yeah, Mono Black Oops seems like a very nice addition to the metagame. Basically, it takes advantage of all the new MDFCs. We've got 12 black MDFCs now, and it plays Scam. We play Grief, Scam, Reanimate without trolls, but with Undercity Informer, Thassa's Oracle, Narcomoebas, and Balustrade Spy, so you can, and Pact, and so you can grief your opponent and then just win with Undercity Informer. And what's really great about it is it plays 4 Culling the Weak. So you can grief your opponent, then on the sacrifice trigger, Cull the Weak for 4 mana, Undercity Informer. It's just so nice.
I think I saw the list. Yeah. Yeah.
I certainly have to play this for sure.
So you got it right in time. Congrats. So, Mono Black
It's a
Oops,
nice list.
something really, really nice. Now we got a slow deck, but also a minute to go. Daniel, 12 post.
12 post. Yeah, I think everybody knows the list because it won one of the challenges recently by Fake Futurism. Probably one of the best 12 post players out there at the moment. He reinvented the deck and completely played lots of Modern Horizons cards, also Modern Horizons Commander cards. It turns out that Planar Nexus is actually pretty bonkers. It plays 4 of Planar Nexus and just the 4 of Urza's Tower. So in the end you have like 4 manas on turn 2. It's just, I don't know, turn 2 Karn is then pretty easy because it opts to play Karn, it opts to play the new Micosant, Sour Micosant, and Micospawn, sorry. That destroys both your opponent's lands and you ramp yourself. Very, very cool deck, and it gets to play Vexing Bauble as a 4-off in the main deck. So
That's sweet.
pretty good. I definitely think this is a really nice jam and great invention and showcasing of the strong cards.
So we shame on Daniel because he overstepped. No, 12 plus is a slow deck, but I've seen it play out. It's so cool because on like turn 3 you can kick your Mycosynth, exile dude, and ramp yourself. It's insanely cool to see. Also playing Nexus Urz's Tower together, 4 mana perfect for the 1 ring on turn 2. Also powers up all your post lands. Incredibly
Who
sweet.
would have thought that Urz's Tower will be legacy player?
Yeah. Just a tower,
And
They are only one of them.
I mean, it's such a sweet fix to make Urz's Tower playable in Legacy.
Yeah.
It's not an overpowered card, but it's such a sweet addition to an all-time favorite of the format.
Exactly.
Very nice. And Peter, what's your deck?
So, I give myself 1 minute for a deck that is similar to Oops. It's Necrodominance. So, I've recently started again playing a little bit of Modo, and I started again with Necrodominance because like sweet, fast, easy to play. The deck is really, really strong when you get to the right cards. Sometimes you have a fail case. Today it happened for the first time in 70 games that I missed off 19 cards, 2 Spirit Guides, but yeah, deck is incredibly sweet. You win often with protection on turn 1, turn 2. You basically tendrils your opponents to victory. You draw 19 and then figure a way out. It's such a sweet, complicated puzzle. Sometimes, but most of the time, you just press the win button.
But is it bannable? Because there was so many ban talks in the first few days of Modern Horizons 3 being legal, that Necrodominance is everywhere, and Necrodominance this, and Necrodominance that, and this deck should be banned and everything. What's your opinion on that?
All I can say, I proved that it doesn't have to be banned. Either I'm too bad with the deck, or we have enough fail cases that it isn't too strong. Sometimes you just win 2-0 with your opponent plays 1 land on turn 2 and tries to counter something. But if you have like an awkwardish hand against like non-protection for a Force of Will in game 1, it's very, very easy that you lose 1-2. But most of my results are like 1-2s or 2-0s for me. So it's like you're on the play when it's usually yours.
Okay, it's basically we have a oops all spells or a dredge situation where you mostly win game 1.
And the thing is like you have a little bit less sideboard action against the deck. The best one is kinda Mindfreak Trap, and oftentimes you just on your first turn you go Ritual, either Cabal Ritual or Dark Ritual into your Necrodominance, and then Mindfreak Trap has to kill something later on.
Yeah, that's true. So I think we can wrap our tries to attack the metagame up. If you like what we are doing, follow us on our social media as @response_legacy. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow us on Spotify. You can find me on Twitter, it's @PhinikNTG, PhinikNTG. Daniel, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me also on Twitter, it is @FlyingDelver. And Peter?
You can find me on Twitter @UnicornLord, but the O in the Lord is a 0. And if you want to follow a textless, pictureless Instagram account, it's @painter_plank.
Thank you very much, and don't forget to comment.
In response. Yeah.
This was In Response, a Legacy podcast. If you enjoyed the ride, feel free to support the show by following, leaving a review, or subscribe on patreon.com/response_legacy.